Part Ux, the opening. Sowing the seeds of mystery. Beneath the soft glow of a single candle, its flame dancing in the hush of an ancient library, we often find ourselves drawn to the silent whispers of forgotten texts. These are not merely ink on parchment. They are echoes across millennia, bearing witness to histories yet unwritten and futures yet unveiled. Tonight, we dare to ask a profound question, one that has stirred the hearts and minds of scholars and seekers for centuries. Can the grand tapestry of the Old Testament, woven in a time far removed from our own, truly hold within its threads the intricate patterns of nations and empires that rise and fall in our modern world? Is it possible that the prophets of old, standing on the dusty plains of the ancient Near East, saw beyond their immediate horizons, their visions stretching into the distant epochs of our present age? Join us as we journey into these cryptic utterances, promising to unearth the powerful, often startling, connections between the sacred scriptures and the geopolitical landscape of today. Part Coxie. The exploration, a deep dive into discovery. A. The historical context, gazing from ancient shores. To truly appreciate the audacity of such a claim, that ancient prophecies speak to modern nations, we must first anchor ourselves in the world of the biblical prophets. These were men deeply rooted in their own time and place, wrestling with the political realities, empires, and peoples that surrounded them. From the Assyrian menace to the Babylonian conquest, the Persian dominance, and later the Hellenistic and Roman powers, the prophets of Israel were acutely aware of the geopolitical forces shaping their destiny. They were not merely spiritual guides. They were often political commentators, national spokesmen, and divinely inspired seers. Their prophecies often served immediate purposes, warning Israel of impending judgment, offering comfort during exile, or promising future restoration. Yet, woven into these immediate concerns were broader visions, cosmic in scope, that often transcended the immediate horizon. It is in this dual nature, addressing the present while glimpsing the distant future, that we find the fertile ground for our exploration. How, then, do we bridge the vast chasm between their ancient world and our interconnected globe? B. Decoding the scripture, unveiling the prophetic lens. The quest to identify modern nations in ancient prophecies requires careful and humble discernment, for the texts were not written with our modern atlases in mind. Instead, they often employ symbolic language, geographic references, and ancestral names that, through the lens of history and linguistics, are believed by many to correspond to contemporary entities. Consider the prophecy concerning Magog, found in the book of Ezekiel, chapters 38 and 39. Ezekiel speaks of a powerful confederacy led by Gog, of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, who will gather a vast army from the uttermost parts of the north to invade Israel. Historically, Magog, Meshech, and Tubal have been associated with peoples north of the Black and Caspian Seas, in regions often linked to modern-day Turkey, southern Russia, and the Caucasus. The description of Magog's vast northern hordes, their weaponry, and their ultimate objectives has led many interpreters to connect this ancient power with Russia and its allies in the last days, especially given Russia's historical and ongoing involvement in the Middle East. Is this merely coincidence, or a deliberate prophetic foreshadowing of a looming northern power? Then there are the prophecies concerning the kings of the East, mentioned in Revelation 16:12, preparing for the Battle of Armageddon. While Revelation is New Testament, its imagery and thematic roots are deeply embedded in Old Testament prophetic tradition. Historically, the East in biblical geography often referred to regions beyond the Euphrates River, encompassing Persia, modern-day Iran, and further into Asia. Given the dramatic rise of economic and military powers in East Asia, particularly China, and the ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, many scholars now explore whether these kings of the East could represent a coalition of powerful Asian nations. Could the ancient vision of a movement from the rising sun refer to the demographic and military shifts we witness today? Furthermore, The prophecies of Babylon and Egypt offer intriguing possibilities. While these were literal ancient empires, their prophetic significance often transcends their historical boundaries. Isaiah 19, for instance, speaks of a time when the Lord will strike Egypt, striking and healing, suggesting a future restoration and even a spiritual awakening in Egypt, a nation that continues to play a pivotal role in the Middle East. And the symbolic Babylon the Great in Revelation, drawing heavily on Old Testament prophecies against literal Babylon, is often interpreted as a representation of a powerful, corrupt global economic and political system, potentially embodying aspects of Western globalism or a future overarching world power. Are these references merely historical, or do they carry a spiritual and even political resonance that extends into our present era? C. The hidden theological meaning beyond geopolitics. Beyond the intriguing geopolitical identifications, what deeper theological truths do these prophecies impart? They remind us, first and foremost, of God's sovereignty over history. Empires rise and fall, nations form and dissolve, but the divine plan unfolds with unwavering certainty. These prophecies are not merely intellectual puzzles. They are profound affirmations that history is not a random series of events, but a purposeful narrative orchestrated by a divine hand. They speak to the steadfastness of God's covenant with Israel, implying that the reemergence of Israel as a nation in the modern era is itself a fulfillment of prophecy, setting the stage for these final geopolitical realignments. Moreover, they underscore the cosmic struggle between good and evil, with nations often serving as unwitting pawns in a grander spiritual drama. The rise of powerful nations, often driven by self-interest and aggression, serves as a stark reminder of humanity's fallen nature and the desperate need for divine intervention and ultimate redemption. D. Controversies and theories, the shifting sands of interpretation. It is crucial to acknowledge that the interpretation of ancient prophecies regarding modern nations is fraught with complexities and diverse viewpoints. Not all scholars agree on these modern identifications. Some maintain that such prophecies were primarily fulfilled in their immediate historical context, or that their application to specific modern nations is highly speculative and prone to error. They warn against newspaper exegesis, where current events are forced to fit prophetic texts, leading to sensationalism rather than sound scholarship. Other theories emphasize a more symbolic or spiritual interpretation, arguing that Magog or Babylon represent archetypal forces of opposition to God rather than specific geographical entities. Still others propose that many of these prophecies have multiple fulfillments, an initial fulfillment in ancient times, and a future, more comprehensive fulfillment in the last days. The debate is robust, reminding us that prophetic interpretation requires both scholarly rigor and profound humility. It is a field where certainty is elusive, but the pursuit of understanding remains rewarding. Asterisk Part 3. The conclusion. The eternal echo. Asterisk. We have journeyed through the ancient texts, peering into the prophetic visions that seem to cast long shadows across our modern world. From the mysterious northern legions of Magog to the kings of the East and the enduring symbolic power of Babylon and Egypt, the Old Testament speaks with an unnerving prescience, hinting at a divine blueprint for history. We've seen how geographical descriptions, ancestral names, and even political leanings, when carefully considered, offer compelling, albeit debated, insights into the global powers we observe today. But the true essence of these prophecies extends far beyond identifying nations on a map. They are a profound invitation to consider the enduring narrative of humanity under divine providence. They compel us to ponder our place in this unfolding story. If the ancients, gazing into their flickering lamps, could discern the broad strokes of our distant future, what does that say about the meticulous hand that guides the cosmos? What truths do these echoes from antiquity hold for us as we navigate a world seemingly on the brink, yet perhaps also on the cusp of something far greater? Let the whispers of these ancient prophecies resonate, stirring within us not fear, but a deeper sense of wonder and a renewed contemplation of the divine author of history. Part